I think the study's been a long time coming. We've been looking at the video vendors for a while, hearing about the CDNs and all the other platforms that plug into this ecosystem. We finally decided to put a stake in the ground. The industry had really matured, and we decided to evaluate 6 vendors across 37 criteria, from monetization to ingestion to scalability to the professional services team, really the gamut of services that somebody might need to implement video on their website. And what I think we really tried to focus on this time was a video platform that can serve not only the high end, that's been there for a while, which is, the big cable networks or movie studio, or not only the low end, which might be just a user-generated blog or something very small that doesn't have maybe the security requirements that a major corporation would. So this is kind of that new middle market that is really, we've seen at Forrester grow and become very mature in adopting video on every type of website. And so these vendors can meet both the high end, the low end, and that middle, and really serve that segment well.
So what are the opportunities, just kind of in a 50,000-foot perspective for online video and so the interest out there beyond media, let's say? Yeah,
well, again, about 2 years ago, all the reports were how many ads do you run against video, and how much money are you going to make on advertising. I think we're looking at it in much broader and business goals. One can be communication. You can simply be a CEO and put a message out to your constituents if the company's doing well, if the company does something poorly. You can do something like lead generation. If you are an insurance company and you want to put videos on your website that explain your policy, nobody's going to click through right there and buy the insurance policy, but if they see that video, they might call the 1-800 number, and you have a qualified lead if somebody's very interested in your product, already knows about it. It can even be something more transactional, though. You could be on a retail website about to buy some shoes, and you see a video of a person using the shoes in a basketball game or a hiking video, and that'll lead right there to immediate sales. So you don't have to look at it just as advertising. There's a variety of business goals, from communication to lead gen to sales. And even on the cost side of the equation, we've seen some companies like Dell or other consumer electronic manufacturers use the video to do self-service. So how do you install this wireless router? How do you set up your network at home? How do you install this new box for your TV? And those videos can be right on the website. That avoids you calling a 1-800 number and spending more money on an operator that has human labor and human cost. So I think businesses can use it for a variety of goals besides just advertising nowadays.
Cool. So there's a number of categories that you've studied in this report. Just you don't have to go through all of them, but what are some of the more important ones that you looked at and that seem to be important to customers?
I think analytics and reporting is big. Every company, regardless of its size or scope or plans, wants to know how well they're doing, especially if you're going to make an investment in that. So analytics was a good, important focus for us. Also scalability. When video, consumers on the internet have kind of an attention deficit disorder. You're not going to sit there and wait for that video to load, or if it's not going to work one day, you don't get a second chance online. So that video better load quickly, better work, better have high quality, and then meet the consumer's needs. So I think those were, amongst the 37, I don't want to underplay any of those. And these are almost table stakes. They're not going to differentiate you. You have to have both great reporting and great scalability and playback. It's the advanced capabilities where you kind of sort out the wheat from the chaff, but it's, I'd say those are 2 that I would really focus on if I were looking to implement a video solution.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some of the 6 companies. If you could run down sort of their, why they're mentioned and maybe some attributes around them. Yeah. You remember them all.
I'm going to do my best to, at least. Well, I would like to say all 6 were really competitive. I think you can meet 80% of the companies probably out there. You would get your basic needs met. You'd ingest the file, play back on a customizable player that's branded for your website, get basic analytics. It's when you want to start getting into the advanced capabilities. Maybe you want to do internationalization. Your videos want to play in different countries. You want to have different metadata and with different language character sets, so on and so forth. And all of them can meet, like I said, the basic needs. The ones that stand out, our 2 leaders in our Forrester categories, were Brightcove and Ooyala, who emerged as the leaders, for having that baseline set of capabilities that I think everybody else met, but then advanced sets. So if you look at somebody like Brightcove, very strong internationally with a big global team, professional services to help you implement so you're not on your own, end-to-end, big network, again, has proven scalability, and you really didn't see any gaps there. Ooyala, another up-and-coming company, a little younger than Brightcove, establishing itself, just took some funding. is really pioneering in some of those areas we talked about, like analytics, really pushing forward there with figuring out where people dropped out in the video, or which region of the country or nation or globe the video is being watched, and even their monetization, really trying to pioneer some areas there. So they're both very stable and have, proven market cases with big clients that, I think is always a follow the leader kind of paradigm that you want to watch out for. And then in our categories beyond that, we looked at Kaltura, who was an open source solution, really unique in the space, coming at it from a different angle of allowing developers to use the code with no charge and put it on your website. I think that'll be really an interesting one to watch, and how the open source movement develops in video. Is that ecosystem important? Does it allow real innovation to go faster than some of its competitors? And obviously sometimes even a price advantage. So there'll be one to watch in that space as well. Then we looked at vMix, which is another white label service that has really established itself as really a full service offering, the way we kind of identified them in their positioning of, again, really not providing just a one price, here you go, handoff solution, but really working with their clients to build and customize an integrated solution. And then we had Flix and, boy, I'm forgetting, Flix and Twistage rounding out. So Flix and Twistage rounded out our category there. They are, again, very competitive in offering those basic services like ingestion, analytics, scalability with big clients. What we found less them focusing, though, on is the high end, to provide something like speech to text or advanced scheduling. I want this video to go live at 5 p.m. but come down at 1 a.m. then go live in Germany at 2. Not all companies are going to need that advanced set and want to pay for such advanced capabilities. So it really spans the full gamut of end-to-end service, or targeting a more niche type of competitor that would allow more basic features, but still enough for most clients out there.
Now, of course, 6 is a small number, and you've talked a little bit about on your blog post why it's limited to 6. Could you explain that?
Yeah, well, there's definitely a time issue that I wish we could do more. But what we tried to do, get with these 6 representative of a sample of a lot of a lot of video platforms out there. Also, we purposely excluded the high end of the wave, which would be the largest media companies, the largest cable companies, that we see companies like the Platform or Digital Smiths focusing on. And it's not to say that those companies can't meet the needs of the middle market or even the low market, but we just didn't want to kind of confuse apples and oranges here and say that the needs of an NBC are the same as the needs of a Marriott or a small retailer who's trying to sell clothing. While there's a lot of overlap, we thought if this first effort in our wave and our focus really kept it narrowed to that middle market, that you can serve both professional content, but also allow users to upload content, and even have a self-service product where I never have to call any of these companies. I can go on their website and simply start plugging and playing with their tools. So we focused a little more on that. I'm sure in the future we'll be looking at the high-end market and even some of the lower-end markets, the Blip TVs, the YouTubes, that allow small independent publishers to do this without any cost at all.